What is up, boys? Ron from Never Lucky. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. We're going to talk about Week 11 waiver wire pickups, guys. We got some injuries to some big players, man, guys, that I've been personally relying on. So I'm hitting the waiver wire, man. I did some research, and I want to share that stuff with you guys. So let's get into this video quickly. At the top, we'll talk about bye weeks, guys. We got the Colts. We got Dragon King Jonathan Taylor on bye, man. He's been carrying a lot of teams. Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, who's now become like probably an every week starter. Daniel Jones and Josh Downs. Those guys will be out. And then the Saints are also on bye. Alvin Kamara, Olave, Jawan Yongsang. And then the Jets passing attack. They're actually not on bye, but they're just basically bad, and they might as well be on bye, man. But there are actually a couple pieces we do need to talk about on the Jets. And we got some injuries, man. Josh Downs. He's not actually injured. He's just dead to me. He's also on bye. Jackson Dart, concussion. Let's see, man. 50-50, 50% of the players with concussion come back and play the next week. But for Dart, I honestly wouldn't be expecting him because supposedly I saw a report that he's dealt with 4 concussion scares already this season, and this last one was an actual concussion. Davante Adams, back injury. Looks like he could have came back into the game, but if he doesn't and he misses this week, wheels up for Puka. Wheels up for potentially one of the other secondary pieces, but I just assume the tight ends are going to be more involved. They got Garrett Wilson took a hammer to his own knee, probably injured himself just with how bad that damn passing game was. So he's out, man, for 2 to 3 weeks potentially. Dalton Kincaid week to week with a hamstring, probably going to miss. That puts Dawson Knox back into the equation of a potential streamer. Rashad Bateman, high ankle sprain, he's out for multiple weeks. You weren't really relying on him, and I don't know if there's going to be a big replacement for him. Maybe Isaiah likely sees a little bump. Maybe Mark Andrews. Maybe Zay Flowers finally gets a touchdown. Chris Rodriguez, shoulder injury, not too consequential, but he was named the captain, did get the early touchdown. Maybe that means Bill Merritt is actually startable moving forward if Rodriguez does miss the game. Bam Knight, ankle. Same thing. Demercado is just better than him, played better, but Bam Knight was getting some end zone looks. So this could mean that Demercado is an even better start if Trey Benson doesn't come back. Terrell Jennings got injured right away. He got like the first 4 carries and then gets injured, and then Henderson has that massive game. DJ Moore, a little bit under the radar injury, injured his shoulder. Only played a couple pass blocking snaps so that everyone's tickets will not get voided, right? All their bets, all their parlays. Likely not serious. He was in the post-game interviews. That likely means that it's not that serious. Aranda Gadsden, a little bit of fear on the knee. Turns out it's just a contusion, a bruise. So we got some clarity from yesterday's video where I did talk about some of these injuries. So we got some more clarity on some of them, guys. Let's talk about some of these replacements now for some of these injuries. All right, guys, next we got handcuffs. I'm going to try to do this video in under 10 minutes. So let's see if we can speed through this shit. These are handcuffs, man. Make sure you guys pick up your handcuffs for your players. This is the time of the season where lottery tickets are good over the course of the season. You're getting random handcuffs on like good teams behind good offenses. But you know, if the guy ahead of them doesn't get injured, you're just shit out of luck, right? I have Bashal Tune sitting on him. I don't have ETN. He's just clogging up a roster spot. Pick up your own, in my opinion. There are a couple guys we're going to talk about a little later, but just have a look at the list. These are some of the high value guys. I try to order them in order of like better offenses. If you're adamant on doing the lottery ticket approach or just picking up good handcuffs, this is how I like to approach it. Just get the guys behind good teams. Obviously, like Tyler Algier is probably not on the wire. Brian Robinson Jr. hopefully shouldn't be on the wire. Blake Corum should have been picked up by now. But we'll talk a little bit more about them. First, it starts with quarterbacks. Jaxson Dart managers, I'm one of you. Let's pray together, dude. A fucking prayer circle. Let's sacrifice a gypsy. Do a rain dance. Let's hope he plays in this game, man. But if not, we got to be prepared, bro. I'm going to be picking up these quarterbacks in this order. I'm picking up Rodgers. I know he just had a horrible game, but he's playing against Cincinnati Bengals. They're Pepto-Bismol for quarterbacks. Jordan Love against the Giants. They're also very bad. Looks like the team is slowly quitting. They're 2-8. All right, next we got Marcus Mariota, man. Miami, careful with this one. They've been playing well. They just held Josh Allen to only 20 fantasy points, but, you know, it was mostly in garbage time. Now, we'll say this. They're a bad defense. They're just playing well. So you can still attack them. Marcus Mariota has a decent floor. He'll get you like 4, maybe 5 fantasy points on the ground as a runner. And then, you know, there's a chance for a touchdown there. Tua, I don't know how to spell his last name. Tagovailoa versus Washington. They've also quit. They're 2-8. They're kind of out of it. Then Geno Smith. He's only on this list because he's playing Dallas. Right, he's had more 30-point fantasy performances than Josh Allen this season. He's also had a bunch of like 4-point fantasy performances. So Geno Smith is bad, don't get me wrong, but the Dallas Cowboys, man, they're the gift that keeps on giving, man. Let's talk about running backs. Most of these guys are the same from last year. There's a couple new ones. We'll probably breeze through the old ones. Monangai, obviously, Kyle Money guy, he should be rostered. It kind of takes a little bit of a backseat to Swift. Hot hand approach, supposedly. However, they did trade drives. It was just Swift that was more effective in his drives. He's probably the number 1 handcuff and number 1 like waiver pickup if he's not picked up. I'd probably dump most of my fab because I do think he's going to be involved on a pretty good offense. Blake Corum as well, man. 12, 13, and 13 touches last 3 games. They're blowing teams out. They lead the NFL in goal line plays. And he's behind a guy like Kyron Williams, who in the past has been injury riddled. right? So he's getting enough work to be like legitimately a flex play, right? Because any given day he can get a goal line touch, take it in for a touchdown, kind of like Devin Singletary on a better offense, right? So I drop a quite. He's one of those guys where even if I don't have Kyron, I do want to pick up Corum. I want to make sure I have one. He's a very valuable handcuff. Demercado, big plays. Bam Knight is injured, and he just looked better, right? He just looked better than Bam Knight. So I would be picking up Emari Demercado. He's like the first non-handcuff guy, that or non-2B guy. He's like probably the lead back at this point. And let's just hope that Trey Benson doesn't play. If you're a DeMarcado bag holder, obviously if you have Benson, you're hoping he comes back because it's a really good offense to have the starting running back for, man. There's Sean Tucker, 9 for 53 versus 10 for 38 from Rachaad White. It was a tough matchup for both of them. They played against the Patriots. And I think he has better goal line potential moving forward. They get Buffalo up next, who obviously they're not a very good defense against the running back. So I think there's a chance that in this game, we still don't have a timeline for Bucky White. So Sean Tucker, not only is he a good pickup this week against Buffalo, he's a pretty good pickup for the foreseeable future, bro. Until what's his fucking name, Bucky White comes back, Bucky Irving, Bucky White. So Sean Tucker, somebody that I really want to pick up. I want to make sure in a pinch type of flex play with the fact that he's taking about 50% of the work from Rachaad White. He's just not going to get like any receiving work. Just keep that in mind. Keaton Mitchell, we need to talk about him, guys. The coaching staff said we want to get him more touches, but it's hard to take work away from Henry. He is the backup to Derrick Henry. He is the guy that would fill in for Henry if Henry were to get injured. He is not he's not the guy that's going to contend with Justice Hill. Justice Hill is always going to be in his role. He's always going to be the third down back, the tempo back. But Keaton Mitchell's a big play waiting to happen, man. In 2 games ago, he had like 10 yards per carry. He went like 4 for 40. And then yesterday or in last weekend's game, he goes like 5 or 6 yards per carry, right? Like he's looked explosive, got some chunk plays. So he's the backup, but he's somebody that they want to get more touches. So we need to keep an eye out for him, man. I know I've talked about him in previous videos, but Keaton Mitchell is somebody that I do want to make sure I'm keeping my eyes peeled, man. He's an explosive, very quick back. He's dynamic. The problem, he's a little bit undersized, and they have a Derrick Henry. So I don't know how you find touches for him, but Derrick Henry has been a little bit washed, right? So maybe they do find those touches. All right, Phil Mafah, guys, we got to talk about this. He's probably going to be the backup to Javonte Williams when he's off of IR. This team hates Jadon Blue. They publicly shame him. They call him small. They say he makes mistakes. This team hates Jadon Blue. He must have slept with somebody's wife or somebody's girlfriend. And it's going to be Phil Mafah most likely. He's going to come off of IR. He's going to be instantly named the starter, and Jadon Blue will be a healthy scratch. You can bring that to the bank. I'll bet $1 to anyone here in this video. Fucking hit me down in the comments, man, if you want to take that bet. And it's a top offense. Javonte Williams is a very physical running back, so I think there's a chance that Phil Mafah could see the field this year, man. If Javonte Williams, he's been a little bit inefficient the last couple of weeks. There's a chance that Phil Mafah comes in, and dude, on an offense like this, I want pieces of it, man. All right, wide receivers, guys. This is the mean potatoes. Parker Washington at the top. It's the same names as last week. There's a couple new ones. He had a nice touchdown grab. He had a kickoff or a punt return, I believe. Brian Thomas Jr. is one flew over the cuckoo's nest. He can't catch. He can't think. His hands don't work. Brown is kind of really just like a guy at this point. And, Parker Washington was the guy who produced, even with Myers. I know it was his first game. I imagine Brian Thomas comes back. Myers gets more involved. Parker Washington slots back into his, like, kind of tertiary or secondary role. I'm not going to lie to you guys and say he's going to be the wide receiver one the whole season, but still, he's producing. He'll get you that punt return touchdown every now and then. He's kind of like a Chimmery DK. I see him, but a little bit more involved, right? More of a volume guy. Alec Pierce at this point, this is actually the wrong text. This is from last week, but he was great against Atlanta. He was 17 fantasy points. He was amazing. He's an every week starter, but they're on bye week, so keep that in mind. But I still want to pick him up, keep him on my bench because he's going to be very good rest of the season. They're not just using him as the deep threat he used to be. Just ignore this. Ignore this text. Troy Franklin gets a touchdown. Sutton takes the back seat. Troy Franklin is now in every week like wide receiver 3, guys. We need to be starting him in our flexes, maybe even your wide receiver 2 slot at this point. Looked good, and the team Bo Nix loves throwing to him. They have rapport back in their college days, and it's showing up, dude. Back to back games with a lot of targets, and now he's getting touchdowns. Troy Franklin, believe it or not, was like top 10 in red zone looks on the season, and he's finally translating that to touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy, guys, in the stats video, I said Jerry Jeudy with a new play caller is probably going to be relevant again. 12 targets, catches an arm punt in the end zone for a touchdown. Dillon Gabriel just throws literally a fucking punt into the end zone. Jerry Jeudy catches it for a touchdown, gets 12 targets, gets Baltimore up next. We have to chase that. We chase volume here. Look, a better play caller, a new play caller, maybe even a quarterback change on the horizon with Shedeur Sanders. Maybe he's a slightly better down the field passer than Dillon Gabriel. And I think Jerry Jeudy can have another little nice ending to his season. It's going to be ugly. He had 12 targets, but he only caught like what, 5 of them or something like that. So don't be too excited. Christian Watson against the Philadelphia Eagles made a couple of plays. There were a few that were like called back on a penalty. I believe he had like one deep bomb called back on a penalty. And at the end of the day, he's their big play guy. Matthew Golden, they hate this man. They draft him in the first round so that he can be like a wide receiver 8 for them. Tucker Kraft is out. Golden didn't play. And Musgrave came in, didn't really look very involved. So I do think with Romeo Dubs now dealing with I believe a chest injury, maybe he misses. Christian Watson might be like a high end starter. I might have to even move him up this list. I'd probably put Christian Watson. I mean, you know what? I'll keep him here after Jeudy, just because it's not a team that really wants to throw the ball too much, right? He's not going to get a lot of volume. I do think Judy's more a safer volume play. Jaylen Naylor, I don't know. Do you guys want to chase that? He has nice rapport with McCarthy. He plays more snaps than Josh Downs, who, as I told you guys, is dead to me. Jets wide receiver roulette. Garrett Wilson's out for 3 weeks. That means a commanding 43 passing yards are up for grabs, dude. So somebody from the Jets can capitalize. Maybe it's Adonai Mitchell. Maybe even fucking John Mechie, dude, who they picked up. I always envisioned it this way. Always, I envisioned it this way since they made these trades. Adonai Mitchell as the X receiver, Mechie as the slot, Garrett Wilson as the hybrid. In the slot, outside, the same role he's always been in. So maybe it's Adonai Mitchell as like the deep threat. Maybe he catches a bomb touchdown. Maybe it's Mechie. My advice, stay away from all of them. Obviously, 43 passing yards up for grabs is not something we're super excited about. Probably going to be over 10 minutes on this one, but let's just finish up with tight ends. Dalton Schultz, guys, 31 targets in the last 4 weeks, 14 fantasy points in week 10. They're playing against Tennessee, who are about middle of the pack against tight ends, but they're a bad defense in general. Next, we get disgusting, guys. These tight ends down here are very disgusting. Steelers tight end roulette. They play Cincinnati, who are dead last versus tight ends. Good luck picking the right one. I think it's Pat Freiermuth. I might be starting Freiermuth and Rodgers this week as a little stack, dude, because I'm desperate right now. I don't have a tight end, and I have Jaxson Dart. Rams also tight end roulette. Seahawks allow 21 fantasy points per game to tight ends the last 4 weeks. The problem is that all 3 guys are fucking involved. Dude, the Rams strategy this season is like, all right, Adams, Puka, Kyron, you guys got your touchdowns. All right, you guys are done. Hit the fucking showers, boys. We're going to get every single tight end a touchdown. We're going to find a fan in the stands. You get a touchdown. Hey, yo, homeless dude selling hot dogs in fucking downtown LA outside the stadium. You get a fucking touchdown. The Rams want everyone to get touchdowns. The only person who's allowed to have multi touchdowns is anyone I don't have on my fucking fantasy team, which means it's never Puka. It's Adams and Kyron, dude, which I have 0 of in any fantasy league. I'm sorry for the rant, but I would probably lean Tyler Higbee. I honestly have no idea. It could be Parkinson again. He's the one who got the most fantasy points last game. But then you got fucking Turd Ferguson, man. Terrence Ferguson, who's also out there looking good, man. He's somebody that they want to get involved, but he's younger, less developed, and less kind of involved. Washington at Miami. I have both tight ends here. Miami allows the 4th most points to tight ends. Washington allows the 5th most to tight ends the last 4 weeks. So that means Ertz and Dulcich. Why does it say Dulcich? They're both in play. Probably lean none of them. I'd lean fading both, but if you're like super desperate, both teams are bad against tight ends. Greg Dulcich 2 games ago went like 5 for 50. Last game, very difficult matchup. Goes like 4 targets still, but only like 1 for 21. He's a guy that they use kind of in the intermediate. They don't use him like super close to the line of scrimmage the way they used to with Johnny Smith. It's actually a fairly nice role to have the tight end. We saw Darren Waller eating. And, they dropped or they waived the tight end that was playing behind Dulcich because they liked what they saw in him. So Dulcich, I kind of lean his way, man. He's a little sneaky. I talked about him in the stash video. And then last, guys, we have Noah Fant. If he's healthy, Steelers are bottom 10 against tight ends the last 4 weeks. He's a sneaky good streamer. He only has about 3 or 4 targets a game, but he has a touchdown in 2 out of the last four games. So he's somebody who's you can have a look at the end of the day. It's a team that they're projected to score 26 plus points every single week. Let's close this out with the defenses, guys. I know I'm over 10 minutes at this point, but Ravens, they're playing the Browns. Dylan Gabriel, it's easy enough. Dallas versus Raiders. That's actually an interesting one. They pick up a new defensive lineman, obviously. Geno Smith is bad. So this is one where it can be a sneaky good matchup where Geno Smith struggles again. Then we got Chargers at Jacksonville, guys. Start the Chargers. They have a good secondary, and they're playing against a pretty bad QB, let's be honest. Trevor Lawrence is just not very good. That's kind of one that I'm not super confident about. The Chargers have a decent secondary, but they get destroyed on the ground, man. It could be a Travis Etienne game, but I do think they can probably get a pick in this one. Maybe they can get a couple sacks on Trevor Lawrence, but I'd probably lean toward the Ravens there. Just look at the matchups, look at the over-unders, look who's at the biggest favorite, and that's probably which defense you want to stream. That's it for the video, boys. Quick one today. Hopefully it was only 10 to maybe 15 minutes max. But either way, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys giving me your time. You could be watching so many videos. You could be on the CBS show, ESPN, all these corporate videos, but you're watching your boy solo creator here make videos as a hobby. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys appreciate the advice and the research. A like is the best way to show support, man. Thank you to everybody in the Discord. Make sure you guys do join it. There will be a link down below. We help each other every day with sit starts. We're talking ball. It's a very sharp community. I know you guys are tired of me hearing that, but really, really join the Discord, man. It's a dope, growing community. We're gonna be doing some rankings videos. We're gonna be doing maybe the wide receiver coverage board. I'm not really sure, guys. I'm like testing stuff to see what really works on YouTube. Some of my videos pop off, they get a lot of views. Some of them just sit in prison, maybe because I say cum or fuck or boner too many times in the video. But nevertheless, thank you guys. I do appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.